Hewlett-Packard splits in two. Is the company now on the prowl for new partners? In today's cover story, the USDA wants to make the ag industry more youthful. Plus Disney Debt, the theme park that is struggling to keep the gates open. And a Florida aquarium blows it out of the water with big help from Hollywood. First Business starts now.
You're watching First Business. Financial news, analysis, and today's investment ideas.
Good morning, I'm Angela Miles. It's Tuesday, October 7th. In today's First Look, the market has a case of Fed fears. There was moderate selling Monday as traders await the minutes coming out tomorrow from the Federal Reserve's September meeting. Gold had the most excitement, jumping $14 and moving above $1,200 per ounce. Oil picked up 77 cents. Shares at the Container Store fell more than 10% on earnings last night. The handy storage company lowered its profit and sales outlook for the year. And the world will be watching to see if Thomas Duncan, who was hospitalized in Dallas for Ebola, responds to an experimental drug. Reports say he's being treated with a drug made by Chimerex. Shares traded up 4.5% yesterday. Let's hope Thomas rallies as well. Chris Gersh of Altimus Capital is here to get us ready for the trading day. Chris, always great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Now, you believe the S&P 500 has an identity crisis. So as a trader, what do you see in the charts as far as going down to 1,800 or maybe up to 2,100?
Well, Angie, I can't tell you how right you are, well, as always. But as far as the charts are concerned, 50-day moving average, we breached that last week, but we can't get below the 55-day moving average. And a lot of traders need to see any sort of momentum through that level to start selling. We saw it really choppy throughout the day in the futures pit.
Now, you're putting big trades on with your firm, and you're going for gold and silver. So what's happening there? What do those trades look like?
Well, the big news off our trading desk was the fact that we are not going to really purchase into gold above the 1,200 level, despite a lot of the algorithms indicating that was a great level. 1,200, as a lot of us traders see, is a mental stop for a lot of individual funds, things like that, that are not trading algorithmically. So what you saw is a push through 1,200, and it bought up to 1,207 yesterday. A lot of these traders really think that it's going to go much higher from this. We have a 1,250, 1,265 range for end of year, first quarter next year.
We're also watching that election in Brazil. Will we see a Brazil bounce in the market?
I really think that the bounce that you saw in Brazil yesterday is something that you should sell on right now. I think there's an 8% pop. Could you imagine if the S&P futures or the Dow had an 8% pop? You would absolutely take your profits. As far as we are concerned, there's a lot of infrastructure issues, 30 to 90 days. Remember, it's just a runoff. Let's see who wins. Let's see how they follow through and look to buy Brazil first quarter of next year, not right now.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Traders and investors will get their first peek at third quarter earnings starting tomorrow with Alcoa reporting results. One money manager predicts better than normal numbers from corporate America.
Corporate management is really upbeat about third quarter earnings. You know, everything's going their direction right now. Of course, during the Great Depression, they got their costs way down. They have not seen a huge rise in prices, both in terms of manufacturing input costs or labor. You know, their labor costs have not gone up much at all, if any at all.
But while productivity is on the bright side for corporate America, Neiman warns corporations with exposure to the Eurozone, Russia, Brazil, and China could take a hit in the next quarter. Chuck Coppola has more on a warning coming from the World Bank.
Good morning, Angie. The World Bank is signaling cautious optimism for economic growth in developing East Asia. Expectations are that the region will grow 6.9% in 2014 and 2015. That's down, though, from a 7.1% growth rate that the bank had previously forecast for those years. In 2013, the region experienced 7.2% growth. The bank also notes that China's powerhouse economy will likely slow.
Euro Disney gets some help from a financial Prince Charming. A $1.3 billion lifeline is coming from its California Disney owners and could result in a full buyout. The resort outside Paris has long struggled financially, but that struggle has become more intense because of a decline in visitors in cash-strapped Europe.
Silicon Valley stalwart Hewlett-Packard says it will split into two separate companies. One company will focus on servers, software, and cloud technology, the other on computers and printers. Split comes after the company shed more than 50,000 positions and means the loss of 5,000 more jobs. Tech analyst Rob Enderle likes the idea that HP will now be able to leverage strategic partnerships and possibly gain a new competitive edge.
What's positive is the PC and printer division will now be able to partner with companies like IBM, and the enterprise division will be able to partner with companies like Apple, much like IBM and Apple have been doing themselves as they looked for partnerships and a way to move into the market much more aggressively than they had before. So HP won't be living on just its own resources. It'll be able to leverage the resources of others.
Shares of Hewlett-Packard rallied 4% to $36 yesterday.
GT Advanced Technologies had a very bad day. The stock opened Monday at $11.05 and closed at 83 cents. The company has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. There was heavy speculation the new iPhone 6 would use Sapphire from GT Advanced, but it did not happen. But the Sapphire reportedly could be used in some iWatch models. The company even signed a deal last year to become an Apple supplier. It included a close to $600 million prepayment.
In today's cover story, Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack urged Congress to pass the Feed the Future Act, legislation to help small-scale farms encourage more young people, more ag research, and more women to farming. With a group from Chicago Public Schools High School for Agricultural Science in attendance, Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack said the U.S. is facing a rapidly aging nation of farmers.
Agriculture is a big deal. And as soon as the rest of the country begins to realize it and appreciate it, we're probably going to find it a lot easier to attract bright young people to this industry. And it has the capacity and the ability to help be at the center of solving all of the major global problems we face.
Vilsack says there are 3 times as many farmers over the age of 65 as there are under 35, and that the average age of farmers in America is 58. Women own about 14% of U.S. farms. That's down 6% since 2007, which is why Vilsack is urging Congress to pass legislation to boost U.S. ag production.
I think we need to, in the United States, continue to do a job of encouraging and recruiting women into the agricultural business. I think it needs to be reflected in the makeup of boards and commissions. It needs to be reflected in the efforts of beginning farm and rancher programs.
Commodities traders say it's not so much that farming needs a more exciting image as it's becoming too expensive for young people to enter.
The price of farmland and therefore the barriers to entry are really pretty high, and that precludes a lot of young people from getting involved.
Vilsack also touched on a variety of farm issues, including the need for fewer chemicals, better environmental stewardship, but he did not have a lot of concern over further consolidation of the meat industry, recently highlighted by Tyson's acquisition of Hillshire Brands. The Global Food Security Act was introduced just before Congress left for recess. It will most likely have to wait until after the November midterm elections before it's considered.
Walmart shoppers will be able to pick up a slice of Obamacare. The world's largest retailer is contracting with DirectHealth.com. Starting this Friday, shoppers will be able to buy and compare coverage options or enroll in Medicare plans. Walmart won't receive commissions, but it hopes to benefit by luring customers into stores.
The concept behind shopping malls, several different stores all under one large roof, is now the template that's being adapted by Wall Street to make life easier for supply fund managers with bonds to trade. The Wall Street Journal reports a dozen banks, including BNP Paribas, Credit Suisse, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan Chase, are developing a one-stop destination for buyers and sellers of corporate bonds. Bank supplies of inventories have dwindled as more regulations on capital have made bonds more expensive to hold for investors.
H&R Block lost a large chunk of investors. Shares slumped more than 5% on Monday after the tax preparer revealed its latest attempt to sell its banking business is being delayed. The company blames the regulatory approval process. The deal will not be completed before the next tax season.
A roller coaster week for Bitcoin. The virtual currency is trading back above $320 after tumbling to $290 over the weekend. Analysts have speculated that the drop was due to a variety of factors, including possible regulatory hurdles and rumors that early investors of the currency are now selling. Despite its bounce back this week, it's been a long road for Bitcoin. The currency has lost more than half of its value in the last 3 months.
Fine art is going up for auction to the masses on eBay. The online powerhouse will allow users to bid on fine art at live auctions happening at 150 different auction houses. Most auction houses already take bids online, but this opens bidding to a much larger audience. Items up for bid are listed in advance on eBay. Bidding starts Thursday.
Drug maker Actavis injects some cash for specialty pharmaceutical company Durata Therapeutics. Actavis will spend $675 million for the company and acquire a new antibiotic that targets acute drug-resistant skin infections. The drug received FDA approval in May. At $23 per share, Durata shareholders will receive a 66% premium on Durata's Friday closing price. The deal could close as early as the end of this year.
The wealthy are giving less money to charity. That's according to a new report from the Chronicle of Philanthropy. It says between 2006 and 2012, Americans who earned $200,000 or more gave 4.6% less to charity. Those earning less than $100,000 per year donated 4.5% more. Celebrity chef G. Garvin says food banks are especially hurting as many Americans get too busy and forget to give back.
Food banks are always in need of support, whether it's dollars, whether it's volunteering your time, whether it's canned goods. So, right now is a critical time because it's going into the holiday season.
Garvin is promoting the Feeding America initiative, which provides grants to food banks in the United States.
American Airlines and Cadillac want to give frequent customers sky status and ground service. Frequent flyers who are tight on time will be able to get a ride in a Caddy from gate to gate. That deal is happening in New York, LA, and Dallas. Cadillac will also give customers flyer miles for taking a test drive. Delta and Porsche have rolled out a similar deal, so have United and Mercedes-Benz.
Turning to the economic calendar for today, it's a jolt of job openings and consumer credit. On the earnings outlook, Yum Brands. Still to come, a Hollywood ending comes to life for a Florida aquarium. Plus, a real estate shakeup for two iconic American buildings. And Bill Mueller brings us a reality check from the small business sector. Don't miss it. We'll be right back. The famous Waldorf Astoria, New York will soon have a new owner. Hilton Worldwide plans to sell its flagship hotel at the end of the year to Anbang Insurance Company, which is based in Beijing. The luxury hotel's price tag just shy of $2 billion, making it the most expensive hotel ever sold. The deal allows Hilton to buy more hotels.
The bankrupt Trump Plaza Casino in Atlantic City is undergoing something of a makeover because of the Donald. Trump claims that the company allowed the casino bearing his name to fall into such disrepair that it violates quality standards terms agreed to by both sides in 2009. He's seeking to have his name stripped from the casino.
The Federal Reserve's new index that measures the U.S. labor market came in on the low side. The index reading for September was 2.5, up from a 2 in August, but down from 7.1 in April. It's an indication of slow momentum in the job market during the month of September, despite 248,000 jobs added to payrolls last month. The Fed recently decided to publish the index on a monthly basis. Bill Mueller has what's trending with small businesses.
You know, a lot of data have come out indicating that there is continued improvement in most sectors of our economy. So what is the outlook for small businesses? You know, that core key employment growth engine of our economy? Well, we've got the numbers from the Small Business Scorecard, which is issued each month by the payroll processor Sure Payroll. Andy Rowe is the general manager, and it kind of looks like steady as she goes in your sector.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly there's a lot of optimism out there in the micro business that we survey, the 1 to 10 employee range, these small businesses, the mom and pop shops around the corner. And there's 73% really feel optimistic about the U.S. economy right now.
Now, how does that compare with last year and with last month?
Well, last year it's up 10 points. And certainly that last month it's up 3 points.
So that's a pretty significant indicator.
Really positive.
How about wages and hiring?
Yep, hiring's slightly down, but I think even more importantly, wages are actually slightly up. And so as far as profitability, we have that about 80% of the businesses out there really feel they've worked themselves in a state of profitability for the second half of 2014.
Well, that's probably why they're pretty optimistic, because the cash register is ringing a lot more.
Absolutely. So a lot of buzz in the air. So again, that's really grinding out there to put themselves in a place for profitability.
What are they doing with those extra profits? Pocketing them, or wages, putting it into equipment, or what?
I think they're really investing back into the business. About 50% of those surveyed said they're going to be investing in everything from office equipment to marketing, but about 50% of those investments is really going to be going back into staffing.
Well, it doesn't mean that it's any easier running a small business these days. Those mom and pops are still working pretty hard, though.
Absolutely. So again, I think if you look at the third quarter specifically, about 75% really met or exceeded their expectations for the third quarter results.
All right, well, now we're officially into the fourth quarter. We'll see how things look a month from now. Andy, thanks for coming in.
Excellent.
Coming up, one money manager says the banks are having a sneaky good year. Could that bode well for earnings season? Plus, the Florida Aquarium with a wave of success. We'll be right back.
Coming to a social media device near you, Mother Nature's voice will sound a lot like Julia Roberts. And the world's oceans, they'll be portrayed by Harrison Ford. It's a series of short films, each about 2 minutes long, being launched by Conservation International. The environmental group says it's taken a decidedly provocative approach, calling attention to escalating environmental damage.
I have fed species greater than you, and I have starved species greater than you.
The organization is gathering the support of corporate sponsors to enable wide distribution. Broadcast networks are also being included in the campaign.
Dolphin Tale 2 is producing lackluster dollars at the box office, but attendance numbers are booming at the real-life aquarium starring in the movie. Jackie Keenan reports from Florida.
The Clearwater Marine Aquarium is a quaint 36-year-old marine hospital with a mission of rescue, rehab, and release. But these days, it's all Hollywood. Meet Winter and Hope, the stars of the new movie Dolphin Tale 2, a sequel to Dolphin Tale. The movies tell the true, heartwarming stories of these rescued dolphins. And tourists from all over the country visit to catch a glimpse of their favorite saltwater celebrities.
She loves the second movie and she's reading the book. She's been watching the live cam on the internet.
But if it wasn't for the state of Florida, the sequel may never have happened. Deplete of film incentives, the state, in an unheard of move, reached in its general revenue fund to give Alcon Entertainment $5 million to greenlight the production. CEO David Yates says tourism dollars are the reason the state saved the film.
Well, they really got involved to help us underwrite part of the production costs. And we knew if the movie went, it would cause an enormous tourism boom.
And Florida will most likely see it. The Dolphin Tale movies act as an advertisement for the Pinellas County beaches. Numbers are expected to increase 4% this year.
That's why we chose this beach, because the aquarium was here and we could see winter.
Our attendance went from just over 200,000 guests the year before the movie to 750,000 guests the year after the movie. So at that point we realized, yes, we need a bigger building pretty quick.
The former sewage plant turned marine hospital doesn't want Oscars or Golden Globes. It wants a new facility. But the aquarium's original $160 million plan made critics gasp. So just like any Hollywood film, the aquarium took a dramatic turn and went back to the drawing board. Yates says the new $68 million redesign would be more in line with its mission of rescuing sea life.
I wanted to make sure this building really is the essence of what we're about. So the final plan we have really feels like it's a unique experience. It's all about behind the scenes, how we do our work. We're very aggressive at raising money any way we can because it all goes right back into our work.
Yates is busy this fall banking on the publicity of the new movie to raise funds for a more modern aquarium. For First Business News, I'm Jackie Keenan.
As for what's next for Winter and Hope, the aquarium says it's in talks to possibly do a reality show. Still ahead, getting real about financial stocks ahead of earnings. Chart Talk is next. Shapiro, president of MWS Capital, joins us now. We have a number of stocks to get to this morning, starting with Hewlett-Packard. Would you be a buyer of this stock as the company is planning to split and use some of the money that it saves on firing people on research and development?
Well, you said it, Angie, firing people. And, I'm a little skeptical. They're pretty much following the fashion of IBM and splitting off the, lower margin hardware business. But, that's one of the key things in earnings season is how much are companies going to grow with investing for the future and how much are they just splitting and cutting costs, i.e. cutting employees to make those earnings numbers. I think that's going to be an important question to finish this year and assess the tenor of the earnings season.
Alcoa kicks it off tomorrow night. Would you be a buyer of this stock ahead of earnings?
Yes, and for the first time, I have a little bit of an interest. I've been buying it. And this earnings quarter, Alcoa, I'm looking for strong industrial earnings. It's going to be important to see how well they're selling aluminum, especially into the auto markets.
And the financials, Matt. Would you buy the financial stocks ahead of earnings, especially the big ones, JP Morgan, Citigroup, Wells?
Well, I would, and they're really kicking off earnings next week, and I think they've put most of the big write-downs coming from the financial crisis, years ago, but still these multi-billion-dollar write-downs, I think they've put most of them behind them. JP Morgan certainly has gotten through seemingly the worst of the cybersecurity scandal, and all these major banks are having actually a sneaky good year. Most of them are at or near all-time highs.
Very good point. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
That's it for now. Coming up tomorrow, a behind-the-scenes look at how Motorola drops, beats, and slams its mobile phones to survive the real world. We hope you will come calling again. From all of us at First Business, thank you for watching.